All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, look, as we all know, it's a huge week in the NFL, really in the AFC East here. Dolphins, first place Dolphins, visiting the New York Jets. And I'm joined by my buddy Doug. DouglieDoWrong. What's up, man? How's it going?
Going good, man. It's nice hearing you say first place Dolphins. It feels good.
Hey, man. Well, yeah, I feel like I could speak for, all of Jet Nation here. We're hoping it's not for long. Uh, but to be honest with you, man, I got to when I look at Miami, they have the talent. They obviously have had some staple wins. It's not like they're playing teams like Houston and Chicago
Mm.
and everything like that. They've beaten the Bills. They've beaten the Patriots. They've beaten Baltimore. Crazy, crazy wins. Talk about really how the Dolphins, like from your experience, how watching this team has been so far.
Um, it's a heart attack inducing. Like it's crazy. It feels different because like normally when you get into these situations where like you're down by like especially the Ravens game, halftime I was like, this game's over. There's no way they're coming back from this. And then they pull it off. So it's like it's different. It feels different. It feels like Mike McDaniel really knows how to make halftime adjustments and make the changes. It feels good, especially on offense. I'm not used to being able to move the ball like they are on offense. So it's different and it feels good. There are some aspects of the team that need to pick it up, but overall, it's nice. It's nice to see them win and so like so soon. Normally it takes them a while to start to win. So it feels good.
Right, man. I feel like for whatever reason, like every year, I don't know if it was like the Flores era or what, but I feel like even under Adam Gase, it was like the Dolphins would start out like horrible. And then
Mhm.
right around like October, November, they would just go on like this massive winning streak and finish like as a 500 team. And by the way, are you still up in Jersey?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like we talk about this every time we do a collab, but I'm a Jet fan living down in Florida. You're a Dolphin fan up in Jersey. Are you going to the game?
Yes, I will be there on Sunday.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, I mean, the one thing that I feel like was kind of the big question mark with Miami really going into the season was Tua. You heard jokes all the time, and I don't really know where you stand on Tua. Like,
Mm.
obviously before the injury and everything, I remember all the jokes. Tyreek Hill, it's like having a Ferrari, but you don't got the key. Like, you don't have the keys, you don't have the driver for it. It's just parked in the garage. But
Mm.
look, Tua has done well, in my
Mm.
opinion. Like, granted, he has the weapons, he has a pretty favorable scheme. Where do you stand on Tua long term?
Um, I made a video this past week because I was giving him 4 weeks. I wanted to see if he was still the same Tua, still was inconsistent with his play because that was my biggest gripe with him for the past 2 years was he was inconsistent. He could make the throws. He was showing flashes that he could be a franchise quarterback, but it was the inconsistencies that were driving me nuts. But these past 3 games, he was playing lights out. Like I was very happy with the way he was playing. I liked his ball placement. I liked the throws he was making. And then the injury happened. And that is where I'm like hesitant. Like I think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he definitely could be one. I like the passes he was making. I like the progression he was going through. I liked all that stuff. But now I'm like, do you give him a contract because he's constantly like every year he's gotten injured and you can't really rely on him to stay healthy, regardless if it's his fault or not. I know it's the NFL and things like this happen, but it's like I don't know. I don't know if I give him that contract. So that's where I'm at right now. Like I think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he has the ability in his passing game and his knowledge of the game and all that stuff to be really good. It's can he stay on the field? You see a lot of these guys like Josh Allen and these guys, they play all 17 games. He's playing like maximum like 12 and I don't know if that's going to cut it. So that's where I'm at right now. I think he's a franchise quarterback, but it's the injuries that worry me.
Yeah, dude, 100%. I mean, even back with, Zach Wilson, I mean, he was injured last year. He missed some time.
Mhm.
He's been injured this year. I think he was actually limited in practice this week with an ankle. So, kind of this, I mean, obviously not the same situation, but I definitely see where you're coming from for sure. And even with Sam Darnold, man, I mean, we had him for 3 years, didn't play, or, he missed time in all 3 seasons. Granted, one of those years was with mono, but
Mhm.
I mean, it sucks when your starting guy, when your franchise quarterback is constantly missing games. But with that said, where do you stand on Teddy Bridgewater? In my opinion, he's kind of a one of the top tier backup quarterbacks in football. I like him a lot in a short term, spot start type of role. Where do you stand on him?
At first I was very apprehensive with him because I watched the Bills game where Tua went down for about like a couple plays, and I noticed that the offense just it wasn't moving as well as it was with Tua. And then even with the Bengals game, the defense had the Bengals going 3-and-out, had them turnover on downs, had them punting, and the offense was not moving, not scoring like it did with Tua. So at first I was very like, I don't know if Teddy's going to be able to help. But then I watched the coach's film, and he was actually making good throws. And I noticed that a lot of the plays that he was running were lefty plays. Like there were some plays where he would play action and then have to like do a complete 180 to turn around to try to get the ball out. So I'm thinking with his 10 days and with Mike McDaniel being able to like draw up plays and stuff like that, I'm a little bit more comfortable with him. And I've been hearing really good things, not only from him, but from his, ex-players like Brandon Marshall and stuff, that he is very like a very smart quarterback, and people that can see him being a coach and stuff. So I'm feeling better after, doing some research and stuff with him being the starting quarterback for however long Tua is going to be out.
Yeah, dude, I hear you. And look, I mean, Teddy was a Jet for a little bit, just spent the preseason with the team. And I mean, I loved him back at Louisville. I feel like everywhere he's been, really outside of Denver, he's impressed.
Mhm,
He's not a top five, top 10 guy, or anything like that, obviously. But again, I think when we're talking about him in a backup role, he could be really effective. But
mhm.
what do you think the Jets could do to have success against the Dolphins this Sunday?
Um, Stop the run. The Dolphins have been having a hard time getting that run game going, which is funny because Mike McDaniel had the run game going with San Francisco. Um, Stop the run and then get pressure on that right side of the offensive line. That right side without Austin Jackson there's kind of been the weak spot of this offensive line. And then also Liam Eichenberg. I liked him when we took him the second round, but now that I'm watching him more, he's not very good at pulling. So he's kind of the weak point of the offensive line. If you really want to, get after this offense, that's where you do it. You stop the run, you get after that right side of the line. Because if you give any quarterback more than 2 seconds and you let Tyreek Hill get open downfield, it's just going to be a nightmare for you. Him and Jalen Waddle just have the ability to find the empty spots in zone too. So you want to get pressure on these quarterbacks and you want to shut down that run.
Yeah, dude, I feel like the thing is I mean, Tyreek Hill obviously is one of the best receivers in football. We all know this, but the thing with Waddle that's super impressive is like yards after the catch.
Hmm.
Granted, that was one of his biggest traits back in college too, but man, he's so effective with the football in his hands. Like you could just throw like a little screen out to him and he could just like I feel like every time he touches the ball, he could take it for six. So I mean, it's crazy. And I was looking at some of the Dolphins numbers a couple days ago. I mean, they're top 10 in like third downs, fourth downs, red zone, touchdowns, I believe yards per game as well. Like this offense has been nuts. And
Hmm.
again, they played some pretty solid defenses. So I know there's a lot of people out there saying that the Dolphins are, overrated. They've been lucky in some of the wins. Where
Yeah.
last question I got for you, man, then I'll let you go. To kind of address some of the doubt, I guess, like how does it make you feel when you hear like big mainstream guys say like, oh no, the Dolphins are overrated. Like they're scraping by. This isn't sustainable.
It makes me feel good actually, which is kind of weird because I'm not used to them praising the Dolphins, and I feel like if they did, something bad would happen. Like with this Jets game, they're on ESPN. 3 out of the 4 picked the Jets to win. So I'm like, all right, good.
Mm.
I don't want the Dolphins to get a big head. 3-0, and then like bring them down to earth. I don't want them to get cocky, and it's weird. Like I bet you when the Jets went to back AFC Championship games, you were like, this is nice, but I don't want to, I don't want to get a big head over all this stuff. So I'm used to it from the most part. Like the mainstream media is always going to bash the Dolphins until they're consistently winning and consistently putting back to back winning seasons. So I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time and hopping on. Good luck this Sunday, man,
I
and have fun
appreciate
at the
it.
game too. By the way.
Yeah, hopefully Dolphins get a win, but I think it'll be fun regardless.
Gotcha, man. Well, hey, thanks so much for watching. And by the way, I'll leave all of Doug's links down below in the description, Twitter, Instagram, and of course his YouTube channel as well. Thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.